right, hello, and welcome to Dude, Where Is My Life? My name is Nikki.
This is Adam. This is take 2 of episode 7.
Because we suck, and we forget to check and make sure things are recorded.
Yeah, we had a great show going, and then I looked over and realized that it wasn't actually recording.
So now you just have to deal with a terrible show. Sorry.
Right. Well, we'll try to do the same stuff we were doing, but the spontaneous stuff may not work. We'll give it a shot.
Oops, sorry.
So I did enjoy watching you arrive here. You arrived a little late, but on time, because when you said 8:30, I assume that meant 9.
Yeah, it's Nikki time. It's called Nick time, okay?
And I think you do that to me just so I end up just standing out there looking like a perv waiting for you to show up.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely why. I mean, yeah, actually, in reality, it's just because I'm a piece of shit, but no, it's totally because I like to make you look pervy. Yes, that's my new motto.
So I did enjoy watching you try to parallel park. Well, I made sure you didn't park by the fire hydrant, and you found a spot that admittedly was a little difficult to parallel park.
I thought I was going to be good.
And you kind of thought you had it, except you were still like 7 or 8 feet from the curb.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. We're gonna blame it on the car. I did a great job. It was a valiant effort on my part. Okay, my car did not exceed the expectations that I had for it. So I'm really sorry. 2016 Ford Fusion, but you're out. You're about to get replaced.
It worked out okay, though, because I found a better spot for you a little further away. And
Yeah.
as we walked back to the apartment, we walked by Dwayne, the Orgasmicat's apartment.
We did meet Orgasmicat, and he does exist.
Yeah, I haven't seen him for over a month, so it was nice to see him out there.
He was fluffy, soft,
Yes.
furry. He was a cat, and he was real, and he was not made up. And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I like the way that you were impressed at how soft he was.
He
which-
was so soft. He was so soft.
I know, that's what cats are. They have fur
No,
and they're
not
soft.
all of them. Not all of them. I've met very many not soft cats. Have you ever met a naked cat?
Yeah, the hairless ones?
Yeah, they're not soft.
They are kind of.
No.
My niece had one, and I don't know, he was nice, or she was nice.
Really?
Yeah.
He or she?
Well, it didn't really
You didn't
matter.
even know what it was. Yeah, but not soft. Not soft. And some cats are just mangy. They're just not soft.
Yeah, it was hot though. I remember because we were staying at someone's summer house, and she had brought the cat, and the cat tried to sleep with me. And I guess because they don't have the fur, they're just really hot. So it was already
Yeah.
hot, and I think that room didn't have the air conditioning, and then there's this hot cat.
Yeah, they're always like really hot or really cold. You either have to like air condition them or you have to like put a sweater on them.
Yeah, but the people who like them, once they get them, they love them. So
Yeah, good for those people. Can't relate.
I do have a couple corrections from last week's show.
More corrections.
More corrections.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
I think when I was telling Vanessa's story, I talked about her driving her kids to work in the morning,
Yeah.
but she was actually driving them to school.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope she was not child laboring.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out, that she wasn't just drinking
We
all
do
night.
not condone child labor.
Yeah, just drinking and taking
On this
her
podcast.
taking her kids to like some summer labor camp or whatever. wasn't like that. Also, I was talking about something, and then you were talking about, oh, it sounds like a James Bond or Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
I think we need to correct that because James Bond and Star Wars are not the same thing at all.
And I literally know pretty much nothing about either of those, admittedly. So I'm going to let you take the wheel on that one.
But they are different. Like Star Wars is
Is not the same as James.
right
I'm
a long time
aware
ago
of
in a
that.
faraway galaxy, and James Bond is in the present basically, and he's a spy.
Is he really? Is it really though?
Yeah,
It's in the present.
yeah, and he has a few futuristic devices. You really need to have your dad watch some James Bond movies with you because I'm sure he's seen a
Sounds
bunch of them,
traumatizing.
and it could be like a fun thing for you guys.
It sounds traumatizing.
And then you could watch Austin Powers again, and it'll be that much better.
No, because that'll be traumatizing. Because my dad will quiz me on everything.
He's gonna
day.
quiz you?
My dad. Oh my God. Okay, can we side note real quick?
Yeah.
So I was at my parents earlier, and my dad does this thing. He always quizzes everyone. He'll play a song, and he's like, "Who sang it? Who is this?" blah, blah, blah. And it's always like, 60s, 70s, 80s music. Very rarely, sometimes 90s. My mom actually finally got my dad back because she played a song for my dad and he couldn't figure out who it was played by. The artist's name was Engelbert Humperdinck.
Yeah, I remember him. I don't know much about him.
That is the best name I've ever heard in my whole life.
Yeah, he was, I don't know how to describe him. I think he was one of those 70s guys, like a Barry Manilow type of guy maybe, who wore the really fancy outfits. And
yeah, it was just this like one song that she was playing and she's like, Michael, who sang this? And my dad was stumped. I've never seen my dad stumped. He's a whiz when it comes to like any kind of music. Like you tell him like who played this and he'll always be able to tell you. And she goes, Engelbert Humperdinck. I died laughing because I was like, there's no way that is a real person's name. Turns out it is.
I'm sure I know some of his songs, but it's not part of my collection.
Yeah, but just the name in itself is amazing. Engelbert Humperdinck.
I mean, there's definitely people nowadays with some interesting names. Like Post Malone, who I think is named after a basketball player.
Actually, he got that name because he just went in and Googled rap name generator, and
he got it from there. Are
you
sure?
That's how he got it.
Okay, because there's a basketball player named Karl Malone.
No, well,
and his nickname was the Mailman, so that's where I'm getting Post Malone.
Yeah, no, his name is Austin Post. I actually know this guy. He went to school near me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've met him a couple times.
Okay.
I've met Posty a couple times. Yeah, it was so he just put his name into a generic rap name generator, and so he put Austin Post, which is his actual name, and it turned into Post Malone, and that's how he became Post Malone.
Okay, well, I will bet that generator was doing the Karl Malone basketball player thing.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
It linked up to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or some other rapper or something, yeah.
Also, we're going to mix this with some vocabulary. I was talking about the trailer with the buckets on it, and I couldn't think of the word to describe how the trailer is hooked up to the truck, and it's hooked up on a trailer hitch.
A hitch?
Yeah. So
is that the vocabulary word today? Hitch?
Yeah, hitch. There's probably other shows where people are learning.
The Will Smith movie? Hitch?
Not that hitch, just the trailer hitch, just the hitch that hooks up the trailer to the truck.
How can we not figure out the word hitch? We're terrible.
I know, so there's probably other shows where people are learning all these exotic words and intricate words.
We're just like, today's word is hitch.
Yeah, we're just going with a one-syllable
word.
We're
basically the new Sesame Street.
Yeah, one-syllable word that everyone knows already.
And tomorrow it's before and after the next day.
Yeah, like before you start recording the show, make sure you hit the record button. That's what I'm going to have to learn for today.
And learn to check it after.
Did you inquire about that Hogan's Heroes show that I talked to you about?
I did not.
It's okay.
I've not seen my parents except for today, and like I said, we got a little bit distracted with the whatever that dude's name is.
Oh, okay.
I can't even remember it.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
Engelbert Humperdinck. It's like Benedict Cumbersmatch or whatever. What is Benedict Cumber?
I don't even know his name.
Cumbersnatch. I don't know.
I don't specifically know who he is. I know
he's an actor, and his name is.
Yeah, I know he's an actor, and whenever people talk about him, I don't really know who he is.
Okay, well, shout out to you. Please be a subscriber.
All right, so the Hogan's Heroes, it's not really as bad as I made it seem.
Yeah.
Because in World War II, there were prisoner of war camps. Mm-hmm. So there was some civility going on at times.
Yeah.
So Germany had these, you have to picture just like an outdoor prison camp with the barracks and everything, just kind of like a military camp.
Yeah.
And it's surrounded by barbed wire and guard towers and all that. And then...
I feel like I've almost seen it. Like, I thought maybe it was like an episode of MASH.
Well, it's not the same thing, but okay. Maybe it played right after MASH and you thought it was the same show. They just shifted to a different war. You didn't even realize it.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, maybe I just thought it was MASH because I feel like I could clearly visualize this.
Yeah, but they didn't actually kill all the prisoners. They would capture a lot of them and put them in these prisoner of war camps, and we would
just starve them.
No, I theoretically they would feed them. Some of them they took okay care of. They would feed them and everything. Probably not a huge amount of medical care, but there was actually a movie in the '60s or '70s called The Great Escape, and it was based on a true story where these soldiers that were in a prisoner of war camp, they actually dug a tunnel down through their barracks out underneath the barbed wire.
Like the Green Mile?
Oh, you mean you're thinking of the other movie?
And what other movie?
Green Miles. Well, anyway, it was like over 100-foot tunnel, and then one night a bunch of them escaped. Like I don't know if there were 50 or 100 of them. They crawled through and got out, and ultimately only a few of them made it back to England because a lot of them were captured, and some of them that were captured they actually executed. But it was an amazing thing that these guys were able to dig this tunnel all that distance because they had to do things like, dig the dirt out. Then they had to figure out a way to get rid of the dirt while no one was watching and all that stuff.
Yeah, no shit.
So it's kind of based on acts. If these guys had a tunnel, but instead of escaping, they would just do sabotage. They would just be blowing up, somewhere nearby in a town. The Germans would have some secret weapon they're working on, and they would sneak out and blow it up and stuff. And they were just making the Germans look all incompetent and everything. So it's actually funny, but when you talk about it, it just seems like
it seems very sad.
Yeah, a really weird
This sounds
idea.
really sad.
But it's a good, patriotic movie.
Okay, Hogan's Heroes. I'm gonna have to remember.
Right.
I'm gonna have to remember. And then what was the movie?
The Great Escape was the movie. Steve McQueen was in it.
Okay.
He was one of his big movies.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna look it up tonight. I promise.
Okay. You went to see something like the Book of Mormon,
Yes.
a play.
Yes.
So the idea of going to a play doesn't appeal to me at all.
Okay, me neither. I've never wanted to go to a musical. I mean, because I don't really like. I think they're kind of weird.
Yeah, there's people running around dancing and
and
singing.
they're just singing like I don't live like. Can you just like tell the story, like not sing it? But it was so funny. Oh my gosh, it's made by the people that created South Park, so it's
Okay, so
way different.
that's where my mind went because I saw that South Park episode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so imagine that, but like in a whole play. And it was the most hilarious thing. And I'm not kidding when I tell you that like seeing something in real life versus watching it on the theater or in the theater or watching it on your TV or on your phone or whatever, it is so different. It is so much better because you're watching these people like not only are they literally running around the stage, they're singing live, and it's very, very, very impressive. I loved it. Of course I showed up 35 minutes late, so I didn't see the beginning of it.
But did you see the South Park episode already? So you kind of knew what was going on?
I'm a huge South Park fan.
Okay.
I have been a huge South Park fan since I was a kid. Back when I was a little kid, my Uncle Travis used to watch South Park with me. My mom gets so pissed because she's like, stop showing her this. This is not good for her, blah, blah, blah. And my Uncle Travis was like, she's going to see it anyway. She's going to watch it anyway in a couple years. So I grew up watching South Park. So huge Trey Stone, Matt Parker. I probably mix those. Yeah, Matt Stone, Trey Parker.
They're okay. They're rich. They don't care if
Yeah,
you mess up
it's
their
fine.
name.
They're rich. You know what? Just sponsor us, okay? Come on. And then I'll get your names right. But yeah, I love them. And so like that was like the one musical I ever wanted to see, and I got an opportunity to see it, and it was so worth it. So worth
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I definitely had I thought it was going to be some religious musical.
No, yeah, no, it's hilarious. It is. Well, I mean, it is technically religious because it's about the Book of Mormon, but it's not.
Right. So it's pretty much funny to most people except Mormons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, which is funny because I'm literally living with an ex-Mormon right now. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
my ex is a Mormon, but that's his own journey. But I think he's actually seen it too, and he thought it was hilarious. It was amazing. I would definitely go see it again, 35 times more.
Okay. On the little bit of an entertainment subject, I think I was telling you about Welcome Back, Kotter a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's interesting when you go back and look at the origins of a famous actor like John Travolta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting because the star was actually Gabriel Kaplan, who was a comedian.
Yeah.
And he was his teacher who wasn't a good student, but he came back and he wanted to help the at-risk students, I guess you'd call them, because he was one of them, so he wanted to give back.
Yeah.
So in that show, that they called the group of them the Sweat Hogs, this group of at-risk students. So there is the whole class, but there was the main five guys, and there was Arnold Horshack. He was the Polish guy, and he was a smaller guy, and he was one of those guys that became kind of the childhood star gone bad over time.
Yeah.
Because you know how there's always the childhood star, and then later on they become a drug addict and get arrested and do porn and all that stuff. And then eventually...
Like in real life or in like...
In real life, yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually they're doing whatever they can to make money, doing reality shows.
Yeah.
And then they end up doing some celebrity boxing match to raise money, which he did. I can't think of who he fought. He might have fought Screech from that one show. You know what I'm
Selling
talking
diet
about?
pills.
Yeah, but do you remember that guy Screech from that show in the 90s?
Yes, Screech, yes.
He might have boxed him, but it seemed like Screech would be too young for him, but it was that type of deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was him. There was Juan Epstein, who was the part Jewish, part Puerto Rican guy.
Yeah.
And up north, where I'm come from, New Jersey, and they're in New York City, the Hispanic population isn't Mexican or whatever we have down here. It's generally Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So, which is part of the U.S., by the way, for those who don't know. And then they
Just in case.
Yeah, and then they had Freddie Washington. He was the black guy with the cool clothes and
I
played
remember
basketball.
this was a movie. Was this a movie or a show?
No, it was a show that
It
was
was
on
a
for a
show?
few years, yeah. And then John Travolta was Vinnie Barbarino.
Yes. Okay.
who
Yes.
was,
I
like,
remember.
the
I've
tall-
seen this.
Yeah,
Yes.
the tall, good-looking Italian guy.
Yes.
So when he did a role like Grease a couple years later,
Yeah.
it's the exact same character.
Yeah.
You know, the good-looking Italian guy.
Yes.
And he kind of acts dumb
Danny
because he
Zuko.
wants to look cool in front of his
Yes.
friends, but he's actually a little deeper than we realize.
He actually likes the girl, but he doesn't admit it.
Yeah. And then the Saturday Night Fever, that was still a pretty similar role.
Yes.
Except he was a little bit darker, but still a similar role.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see where these people come from.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't. Man, I remember watching that show. I don't know why I watched it, but I did.
Yeah, good old Vinnie Barbarino.
Benny Barbarino. I remember him.
And Vinnie,
Yes.
by the way, is the name I use at places like Starbucks or Taco Bell or whatever restaurant. Whenever they
Vinny?
say, yeah, I don't use my real name. I'm not really sure. I guess I'm trying to protect the innocent. But when they take your order and say, what's the name for the order? I always say Vinny.
You're just scared to use your own name.
I'm not scared. I don't know. That's just my Taco Bell, Starbucks, whatever name.
My parents adopt Italian greyhounds. It's one of their passions in life.
Wait, they adopt Italian greyhounds?
Yes, they do.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah, so think greyhounds, but like
With an attitude? Or?
Chihuahua sized.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
with an attitude. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, with and Chihuahua sized.
Okay.
And one of them his name was Gilligan. I named him Gilligan because my other dog was named Skipper. Off of Gilligan's Island.
Okay, I was going to say,
But-
just make sure you knew what that show was.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, of course I did. But his original name, whenever we adopted him, was Vinny, and we were like, hell no, we're not naming this dog Vinny. So I'm sorry,
Yeah, I used to use Ralph as a fake name,
Ralph.
but I
That's
wanted.
even worse.
Yeah, I think the Vinny's a little bit sexier.
No, Vinny's not sexy, and neither is Ralph.
Yes, it is. Well, no,
You should
Vinny
use
is.
like I don't know, like Dominic or something.
Well, Vinny's not far from that, but Vinny's quicker and easier to say. And then sometimes it's funny when they're really going by the book. And like the other day, I was at Starbucks, and the girl was trying to get all this information perfect for me. I'm like, well, you're just making a frappuccino. We're not doing a huge business transaction.
Right?
I'm giving you money. You're going to make it, and you're going to set it at the end of the counter.
Isn't the end of the
But
world.
she definitely wanted to know the exact spelling of my name and everything. And I
You're
said,
like VYINNIEYE.
yeah, I said, you can spell it any way you want it. Well, how do you spell it? I don't.
I don't know, how do you?
Yeah.
How do you?
But
And then y'all went on a date.
that didn't happen. But it does sound cool when they say order for Vinny, which sounds cooler than order for Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph does not sound... I would never want to hear an order from Ralph.
In Tom Cruise's first big movie, Risky Business, you've probably seen that, or no?
No. I hate Tom Cruise so much.
Okay, well, anyway, he ordered a prostitute to come to his house. And then when the prostitute arrived, he said, yeah, I'm looking for Ralph. That was the name he gave to the prostitution
Of
service.
course. Good job, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. That's not really too important. I did go to Taco Bell,
Yes.
and when I go there, I don't eat meat, so I do the taco platter with the 3 tacos and a drink, and I get beans instead of meat and extra cheese, so the calorie count is still up to where a regular
Yeah.
taco would be.
And who doesn't want cheese?
Yeah. And then I get my tacos, and there's hardly any cheese on there.
I hate that.
Yeah, and I paid extra for it. It wasn't at the drive-thru, I was inside, so it was cool. So I went up to the counter and asked for more cheese, and everyone was totally confused because, well, most of the people didn't speak English. I knew
Mas queso.
Yeah, I knew enough Spanish to ask for it,
Yeah.
but they're still looking at me puzzled because they know they're not supposed to just give some guy cheese.
Can you just throw some more cheese on my tacos, please?
So then the shift manager guy, who was really nice, he came to help, and then he was telling them, but he didn't really know Spanish.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of trouble. And finally, I saw like 3 people go to the line in different places because they were all trying to just do something. I don't know what. They were just trying to make
They're
it look
trying
like.
to put cheese on your taco, man. Come on, they needed to organize for that.
So then one of them finally put the cheese in a little container, and then they put the lid on, which I hate when they do that. I don't need the
Yeah.
lid put on, but so
if
he
you're
did
gonna
that.
be there, it doesn't matter.
And then he handed it to one of the other guys, and that guy handed it to another guy, and then he handed it to me. So it was definitely,
It was a group effort.
yeah, there was a lot of labor involved in getting my extra cheese today.
Well, at least they're working for their money, damn it.
Yeah, so I know I haven't mentioned Taco Bell lately. They do need to get with me because aside from being a spokesman, I think maybe I could help them streamline their operations a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, I've always been a fan of theirs, but they seemed like they were struggling a little bit today.
Yeah. Listen to my mans. Come on.
My patio, I don't know if you noticed, the leaves were off it. I have a friend who has a leaf blower. And
Nice.
it's not a big time one. It's a smaller electric
Baby
one.
leaf blower.
Yeah. But for years here, the guys who blow the leaves, they all end up on my patio.
Yep. Oh, I know the
So-
story of that.
So they go down the line, and then my patio's a little bit lower, and then they all end up accumulating and getting on my patio.
Yep.
So now I'm so happy I have a leaf blower where I could blow it back.
When my ex was living with me when I lived here, he hated the leaf blowers so much. I wake up every morning, he's like, these goddamn leaf blowers, I can't get any sleep.
Well, how many people really love them? How many people are like wake up and say, "Oh, the leaf blowers are
But
here"?
like it never bothered me. I never started noticing them until he brought them up. And then all of a
Really?
sudden, yeah, and then all of a sudden I was like waking up every morning and I'm like, these leaf blowers, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to go out and murder them. And like I became a hater of the leaf blowers too, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's probably something more people who work in the service business who might be working late and sleeping late.
Yeah, we were both bartending at that time, so that would
Yeah,
make
and the rest
sense.
of the population,
Yeah.
they're off at work. So.
Yeah, and we would hang out at night, like after we would get off work, and so we would always both pass out on the couch instead of in the bed. So we'd be like out near the living room, and so the leaf blowers were just right there, just like. We're like, how many leaves can there possibly be? It's been 20 minutes. Please go away.
I know, especially this time of year where there's nothing really growing around
Yeah,
here. There's nothing
exactly.
falling from the trees.
Exactly.
It's hot, and then they're still just blowing stuff around.
Exactly. But I swear that's all they pay them to do. And I'm like, I'm going to get this job. I'm going to get this job just to go walk around and blow things around for no reason.
Yeah, I'm not really mad at these people. I know a lot of them probably come from a very bad place and they're trying to work hard to
Oh, yeah, for sure.
to
yeah.
help their families. So I don't want people to
sure.
think that, but we're just doing our commentary on the noise and the results of all the leaves on my patio.
It's just us being cranky white people. Come on, let's be realistic. Jesus.
I know I talked about the those guy thing. Mm-hmm. I guess I have to wonder, am I a those guy? So there's the shit show guy, like we talked about before, who always loses their keys and
Yeah.
their wallet and stuff. And I've hardly done any of that through my life. I'm always aware of where that stuff is. Mm-hmm. But there's things that go wrong in my life, though. And just the fact that I'm 55 and I'm still a bartender is probably a testament to that.
Hey, bartending is a very viable career. Don't let anyone say anything else about that.
Oh yeah, people always tell me that when I
When
tell
are you gonna get a real job?
when I tell them I need to do something better, and they always say, no, you're great doing what you're doing. You're working hard and everything. And
Oh, see, I always got the opposite. They were always like, when are you going to get a real job? When are you going to grow up? And I'm like, fucking never, dude. Leave me alone.
I guess maybe because you're younger, you get that, and then you hit a certain age, and
Yeah.
then the people. I guess when I'm looking for feedback from people,
Yeah.
I don't like it when people say, no, you're doing great, because I know I'm not, and it's the fact that someone says
Yeah.
that isn't going to help me pay whatever bills I need to pay, and it's not going to help me get a girlfriend because I know there's a lot of girls who it's just difficult to go out with me because the schedules are so different and
Yep.
everything.
Yeah, it's very difficult with the schedule difference. Very difficult.
So I was trying to think of a those guys story for me, and I got a list of a few. I've got a lost keys story, even though I said I hardly ever lose my keys. I've got a lost wallet story, or a stolen stuff from my wallet story. What else? I got a toll tag story, or I got an Irish Rover story.
I do Irish Rover story.
Irish Rover story? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure we could do the other ones over time.
Yes.
So I had a job at the Irish Rover bartending, which it's in Frisco, so it's just north of Plano. And that's another big suburb. It's not quite as big as Plano, but it's over 100,000 people. It's been the last 20 years one of the fastest growing cities in the country, probably named one of the greatest cities to live.
Wherever you, yeah, it's the dream destination.
And after I was working there for a little bit, there was 3 managers. 2 of them left quickly after I got there. And the only full-time manager left was the owner, he was a part owner and general manager. So he let me and Lori, who was a coworker, bartend and manage. And it ended up being a good deal for us because he paid us extra money, and we were able to make the money from bartending plus a little salary, and we were able to help run the place. And it really did very well with us running the place. So things were going great. And then it was going to be sold because the main owner, after years, didn't get along with the other owner, who's the manager. So his plan was to sell it, and he was going to get rid of the other manager, the general manager, and recommend that me and Lori run the place. Also, right at that time, that Frisco, they used to only serve alcohol till 12.
Yeah.
So the city council voted to make it till 2.
Oh, so you were right there at that time.
Right. So I convinced the owners to right away get the new license to be open till 2, and we'll be open till 2 every night. And a lot of people thought I was crazy wanting to be open till 2 every night because they thought you should just do it on the weekends. And I said, no, let's do it every night. So as soon as that happened, we were making a lot more money. Suddenly my income jumped like 50%. So yeah, I was working a couple extra hours, but that jump in income was great. And I'd been a struggling single dad for a while, and I said, I'd have a good job, but then something would go wrong with it because I'm one of those guys. Something just goes wrong to where I can't get that financial freedom or whatever that I need.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, all right, I'm making 50% more money. This is awesome. Everything's going great. And then within a month, this city council, under pressure from the citizens, reverses it and says, no, we're going back to 12.
Oh, no, so you were that time. Okay, I got it.
So it's like something like that always goes wrong with me.
Bad luck Brad over here.
Yeah. And I looked at the law and I said, I'm pretty sure if you hire an attorney, you can stop this from happening because we already got this license, and and they didn't want to take the time to mess with it.
Yeah, and no one else is gonna mess with it in Frisco. At that point in time, at least.
Right.
Now it's different, but...
Yeah, now a few years later, they reversed it and everything's open until 2 again.
Because I thought you were talking about when... Because I was like, I'm pretty sure that they reversed it like right after I left where I worked with you. But I remember the time before that, and they reversed it.
Yeah, and I was so happy to be making all that money, and it lasted a month or so. And then me as an experienced, not just bartender, but I had also managed different bars and restaurants before, I couldn't convince the new owners that they should fight this, and even if it was temporary, they would have been able to stay open later.
Yeah.
There's other stories from there where things went wrong, but that's just an example of something will be going good for me, and all of a sudden this happens.
I don't think that makes you with those guys, though.
It doesn't, and it wasn't.
It just makes you bad luck Brad.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's what a those guy is, because there are things that happen like that wasn't my fault, and I fought against it. But there's
Yeah.
other things that maybe are partially my fault. But either way, when I meet a girl who's expecting someone my age to own his own house and be more financially secure, I'm still one of those guys where things go wrong. And then on top of it, I have my business plans where they ask me, oh, so what do you plan to do for the future? And I tell them, yeah, I'm going to be the Taco Bell spokesman. I got that going for me.
The Taco Bell cheese spokesman. Only for the cheese. I only speak for the cheese.
No,
I don't speak for the tacos or the bell.
no, other things. I plan on helping them promote themselves as a healthy eating place.
Cheese-friendly restaurant.
Yeah, that gives people lots of energy and helps get them in shape and all this stuff.
Yeah,
And
the Taco Bell diet. That was a whole thing.
yeah, some cool songs and all kinds of things.
Oh, cool songs. Oh, we're doing cool songs now.
Yeah, so when I'm trying to convince these girls that I do have a viable future, and then these things always happen to me, then I think they look at it, and sometimes even I have to look at it and say, well, what's wrong with this guy? Because something is always going to go wrong with this guy. He's one
Yeah.
of those guys. Something's always going to go wrong.
Yeah, I think we're just cursed. I think most people in the service industry are just cursed with bad luck. To be honest, overall, we just like that's why we gravitate towards it, because we're just like there's nothing better gonna go on for us, because everything that goes good is just gonna eventually go very, very, very bad very quick.
But I mean, I still believe, just in case any girls are listening who are thinking, oh, he's just going to be the bad luck guy forever. I still believe that.
He will be the good luck guy.
Yeah,
eventually.
some good things will happen. I always keep working towards stuff. And that's the message that some people, I'm sure there's other people out there who feel the same way, that no matter what they do, they're working towards something and something goes wrong. And there's obviously the people that always lose their wallet, their keys, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's way more their fault. But there's other people like me who are working towards stuff, and things they just go wrong.
Just fall.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for one thing, you just can't give up. You got to just keep finding things to do to move forward. Mm-hmm. For instance, I'm doing this, but I'm also taking a class or two.
Yeah.
So I'm also having that backup plan of learning some other business type things. And I do have a college degree also from a long time ago.
Yeah.
And some of these things could integrate together. You never know which things that you're studying and learning are going to help you and be valuable. But it's important to just keep learning things.
Exactly. Yeah. You
which-
should never stop learning.
Which I'm definitely going to get on you to do, because I know we talked about your
I know.
5-year
Yeah.
plan.
I'm gonna start learning things soon enough.
Yeah.
Soon enough, I'll learn something or
And-
another.
And the 5-year plan is important. I mean, because that was an Adam Sandler movie. So
Yeah.
it's obviously the thing
Yeah.
you need to do.
Yeah, the 5-year plan. I'm working on it. I'm still working on it. We'll see. We will see.
Okay, I'm still going to try to convince you to take some class in the
Yeah,
fall.
no, I definitely want to. My parents are like supportive of that too, of me
Yeah.
taking a class. I just, first of all, need to be in I have to have a job that will allow me to do that.
Right.
If I'm going to take a class, I want it to be something that I'm interested in. I don't want to just take like physics, just for the sake of taking physics. I want to take something, because if I'm going to dive back into getting into education and stuff, I want it to be something I want to ease my way in. You know?
I know. And that's why I suggested something like a Microsoft Office class.
Yeah, something something
it doesn't
easy, or
mean-
something that I'm interested in, something that
It's also a base for everything, because whether it's that or
Exactly.
some other computer skills, you want to do creative stuff, you want to do this.
yeah.
You want to have some skills other than what you have right now, just like I do. I definitely need to improve the skills as far as the editing and the recording, because we do these shows and then one of them's louder than the other, then the next one's not loud enough.
And sometimes we forget to even record.
Yeah, like this show started out, and then we had some really funny stuff, and then I realized I hadn't been recording for 10 minutes.
So sucks for y'all. You're never gonna hear it.
Should we try to recreate the stuff we were saying?
I
at the
don't even
beginning of the
remember
show?
what it was. That was 20 minutes too long ago, my fair sir.
Yeah.
No.
I think I was asking you if you ever saw the movie Dude, Where's My Life?
Oh yeah.
Wait, I did it again, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and you're
mean-
like, dude, you seen the movie Dude, Where's My Life? I was like, you mean Dude, Where's My Car with Ashton Kutcher?
Right, I said it wrong, and I think I just said
Because
it
you're
wrong
trying to
again.
give me shit about not getting the title of the show right the last time I announced it.
Yeah, and I've never.
But you didn't even get the show right for the movie.
I know. I've never even seen the movie Dude, Where's My Car? And I should
You
definitely
haven't?
see it. No. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
I mean, I basically.
You named this whole podcast after it. What do you?
Well, it didn't seem like an important movie to see because when.
What is this?
when they
Ashton
do the-
Kutcher. Of course it's important.
I know, but when they do the previews, you just see these guys going, dude, sweet.
Yeah, it's
dude.
like Scooby Doo though, but like you've seen Scooby Doo.
Yeah, but at this point in my life, I know how it's going to work out. They're going to take a mask off someone, and we're going to be surprised who it is.
Oh my god, this whole show is based off a lie. I can't handle it.
And then there's the other movie I was actually watching because I was watching TV and I was going through some channels and there was some special on Donald Trump's one of his indictments or whatever.
Yeah.
And then next to it there was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and I thought, all right, which one of these shows is more realistic? I'll go with the Bill and Ted thing.
No shit.
And then I was watching it. Ashton Kutcher. No. I'm missing up again.
Oh man.
Keanu Reeves was in it. And then I always thought it was Sean Penn who was the other guy, but it's this guy named Alex Winter, who I'd recognize from stuff.
So
but-
basically, Adam doesn't know who the fuck is anyone in celebrity TV.
No,
And movies.
there's always people I got mixed up. For instance, in the beginning, I thought that Chris Rock and Chris Tucker were the same person. Like in the very beginning.
Chris Rock and Chris Tucker.
You know who Chris Tucker is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I wasn't really paying attention. I was busy. I wasn't watching all the comedians that much. I know they're not now. And then some friend of mine was telling me that Chris Rock's name actually used to be Chris Tucker, and Chris Tucker's name actually used to be Chris Rock.
Well, so okay.
so I
So
think
are they
he's-
the same person? Have you ever seen them both in the same room?
No, I've seen them in the same building before.
I used to get
That's not really true.
I used to get Dwight the Rock Johnson and who is the other
Dwight the Rock Johnson? Dwayne?
Dwayne the White Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
And who's the other really big bald dude?
Hulk Hogan?
No, the big bald dude.
Oh, Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel. I used to get them confused all the time. And then for some reason I got Shaquille O'Neal and Michael Jordan mixed up, and I have no idea why, because they look nothing alike.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
But I
basketball
was like-
players that no
that
one
was
would
like Space
recognize,
Jam.
but they're pretty much the two most famous basketball
It was
players.
Space Jam, it's fine. Yeah, I was like they got Bugs Mogsy or whatever his name is.
Bugs Mugsy? Oh, God.
Is that his name?
Bugs Bunny?
No, the Mogsy. Mogsy.
Muggsy Bogues, the basketball player?
Yes. See, okay, I'm just gonna stop trying to talk about sports ball here. I'm very sorry
Yeah.
to my boyfriend because he's gonna listen to this and be very embarrassed for me.
Okay, so there's some cliche stuff that you don't bartend anymore, so it's not as
No.
important for you to know, but you could know. Mm-hmm. You know, football season's coming up, so
yeah.
all the people at the bar are talking about football. So
Sports ball.
two customers of mine, Dos Equis man and Dos Equis man and Pacifico guy were talking, and Pacifico guy is a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
So I guess they played the Cardinals in a preseason football game. You know what preseason is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm aware.
Apparently, like 10 years ago, when the Broncos last won a Super Bowl, whenever it was somewhere around there,
Yeah.
they played the Cardinals in a preseason game.
I actually worked at the Irish Rover the last time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was telling us that since they played the Cardinals in a preseason game again, that means the Broncos were going to win the Super Bowl this year. So you know how people like dig up facts like that
Yeah.
to try to prove something.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I remember 10 years ago, I was eating a bagel and I dropped it on the floor and it fell sour cream side down. And that night,
and then your dog came and ate it in 2 seconds?
And then that night I got laid. So therefore, if that happens again, I know I'm going to get laid because it was pretty much just as relevant as whatever he was talking about.
Well, I mean, I already told you about the bagel incident last week, so
Yeah.
there might just be a random dog that might show up. You never know. 10 years later,
Well, hopefully I'd get it cleaned up before then.
you
But
never know.
I guess now the trouble is, I mean, I have so much trouble getting a girl because I don't even eat the bagel a half at a time now. I just put the sour cream on and put the other piece on. So now
You
I
just
don't.
eat it full,
Yeah, sandwich style. But
sandwich style.
so now the trouble is, if I drop it, it can't fall sour cream side down.
It can't.
So I don't know how I'm gonna get a chick. 'Cause,
Now you got to change up your ways, man.
yeah, there's got to be some other indicator. Maybe if the Broncos play the Cardinals, I'll get laid that year. I don't know.
I didn't even know there was a sports ball team. The Cardinals?
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, Arizona. Okay, no, yeah, okay.
They used to be St. Louis Cardinals a long time ago, but
Okay.
you wouldn't know
A
that.
lot of people care about that. I'm sure.
You had a doctor anxiety incident.
Yeah, I had a full-blown anxiety attack at my doctor's appointment. And
Was it the anxiety doctor?
no,
Okay.
no, I talked to my anxiety doctor through telemed, but this is just my regular PCP. I was just going to get a refill on my regular prescriptions, and granted, it's 106 degrees outside.
Right.
And so I was wearing a hoodie because it's normally cold in my office at work. And I get to the doctor's office and I'm like sweating in my hoodie. And I'm like, oh man, dude, this is. And so I go into the bathroom and I take off my hoodie, right? Because they're not going to be able to take my blood pressure with this hoodie on anyway. So I need to take it off. And I'm like, this is fine. I'm just hot. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh no, something's wrong. Something is wrong.
So when you got in your car, you weren't hot wearing that hoodie?
I was hot. I was hot, but I had like the AC blasting and stuff, and I was cool in the process of cooling down. Like I figured I was gonna cool down eventually, and then. So I get into the doctor's office, they put you in the little room or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this is a full-blown anxiety attack. And for some reason...
Would they find some really small room to put you in?
Yeah, they
have all these luxurious rooms, and there's the
exactly.
closet. We'll just put her in there.
And so they bring me in there, and the nurse is talking to me, and she's like, hey, and they have the little table, and I'm like, okay, I just need to lay down, and I'll be fine. Because I feel like I'm gonna pass out at this point. And so I go to like lay down on that little table, and she's like, oh no, you can sit in the chair, and I'm like, of course I can go sit in the chair. I'm just gonna go sit in this chair. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like giving her the shortest answers ever. She's like, do you smoke? No. She's like, do you vape? I'm like, no. Like, please just get this over with. So she finally like takes my blood pressure and she's like, oh wow, your blood pressure is really high. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm dying right now, lady. And then she's like, I'm going to go get the other blood pressure monitor. I'm like, of course you are. Of course you are. So at this point, I'm like freaking out. I need to get the fuck out of here. I cannot die in a doctor's office, which arguably, if you're going to try to die somewhere, a doctor's office would be the best place to die.
Well, best place to get sick, at least.
Yeah, exactly. If your chances of being saved arguably higher at a doctor's office, but I was like, no, I need to get in my car and I need to leave right now. And
So your car, isn't that the worst place for you to be?
Thank you. I was freaking out. I was like, my apartment was 2 stops down the highway, and I was like, I can get there and I can get up. All I have to do is get up the stairs, and then I can die in the peace of my own apartment by myself. And I was like, thinking about it later, I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I? But it's just so funny, like how anxiety is, like it makes you think the stupidest things. I was in a very, very safe place. If something were to, if I were to have actually been having like a medical emergency, which I felt like I was having at that point, I really did feel like I was dying. A doctor's office is arguably one of the best places you could be in. Yeah. And I was just like, I need to get the fuck out of here right now. I need to go. And it's just so crazy how your brain just tricks you into doing the exact opposite of what you should be doing, you know?
That's normal for a lot of people like me and some people I know who avoid going to doctors.
Yeah, exactly.
For instance, when I was saying at some point, I got a physical last year. I haven't gotten one this year, but I hadn't gotten one in years, and only 2 as an adult, because at the doctor's office, that's also where you receive the bad information, potentially.
Yeah, I just missed my physical. I was supposed to meet back up with my doctor yesterday, and I didn't go. But.
And to have it, once you start going more often, then it becomes more normal.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of girls that go more often for whatever girl things. So to them, going to the doctor, a lot of girls is pretty normal because they're used to it. Or athletes, professional athletes, especially who are always
Yeah.
getting checked out and they get a little knee operation. It's just routine for them. Mm-hmm. But for a lot of people, it's not.
Yeah, no, and I went and finally I started calming down once the doctor came in, and I didn't feel like I was gonna pass out and die. At this point, I was like, it's too late for me to run away to my car to go die in my apartment. Or at one point, I was like trying to call my mom to have her come pick me up because my mom's a nurse. But I'm at a doctor's office and there's nurses here. They can take care of me. And so I started calming down, and then the doctor was so sweet. I hadn't even seen her in like 2 years, and she like remembered that I was a bartender and was like, "How are you doing? How's your stress?" Just like the nicest person. And it was like the best experience that I could have ever had. And I'm like, why did I freak out about this? But such is life, you know?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I know we've talked about doing something uncomfortable, and of course that is, but you just have to get used to doing more things uncomfortable, whether it's going to the doctor, the dentist, or...
Never the dentist, though.
Yeah, never.
Never. I'm too scared of the dentist.
No.
I had a dentist. I've only had one dentist my whole life, but he moved and he he works for super, super far away now. So it's like an hour and a half drive. So I would have to take a whole day off of work to go see him. I'm not doing that. And I also don't want to embarrass him because my teeth are terrible.
Well, yeah. You
And
need
he'd be
to...
like, all the work I've done after all these years, and this is what you did.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, finding a dentist is like or a doctor is like a mechanic sometimes. When you find that good one, you're happy.
Yeah.
And you don't mind paying a little extra because you
Yep.
trust them. But then when they disappear, then you have to find that other one.
And you're like, how could you do this to me? It's betrayal.
Yeah.
It should be illegal,
Yeah.
honestly.
I know we try to give out some advice. I would definitely recommend go to your doctor, go to your dentist. For those people who, like me, who stress out about it, it feels so good once you've actually gotten it done.
Yeah, and if you feel like you're gonna die when you're at a doctor's appointment, just stay there. Don't try to run away. Don't try to go to your car. Don't try to call your mom. Don't be an idiot. Just stay there. You're gonna be fine. You're
Yes.
gonna be fine.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be a little bit tough.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that you have a few tattoos on your body.
Just a couple.
I probably see 5 or 6 on you, and that's just looking at your forearms.
Yeah, I
and
just
hands.
got these done last week, 2 weeks ago.
So-
Got the 86.
What's that for?
You know what 86 is for.
Like I'm 86, like restaurant talk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I
Okay.
got the red flag emoji, for red flags.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I'm classy.
Okay.
I'm a very classy person.
All right, like red flags that we talked about?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're inspiring you to get to get your tattoos. When are you going to get your Taco Bell tattoo?
I will at Taco Bell, if you decide to, just join in on me and Adam and just, help us out with our podcast, I will literally get a Mountain Dew Baja Blast tattoo right here.
All right.
Right here.
Sounds good. I know we were talking about girls' sex timetables last time.
Yes.
What is the timetable if I start dating a girl to know where all her tattoos are and what they are?
What is the appropriate time?
So Vanessa had some tattoos. She had one main one on her thigh, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I thought it was sexy because you could see maybe 2/3 of it, and then a third of it went up, into her shorts. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of sexy, like, ooh, what's up there? Where that tattoo goes,
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, is there a cooler way I could be saying
I don't.
So if I
No, I don't know any tattoo.
Well, I mean-
I'm not that cool. Come on.
well, I don't know. If I meet a girl and she's got some cool tats,
Cool tats,
do
bro.
I say, hey, I like your tats, or does that make me sound like an older guy trying to be cool?
No.
Or,
No.
okay, do I like your ink? I mean,
No, don't say that.
Okay,
That's
no?
terrible.
Okay.
Please don't say that. I like your ink.
so aside from her main one, she probably had 5 or 6 other smaller ones.
Mm-hmm. Just
And-
assorted places.
Yeah, sort of places. And it was kind of fun because we'd be doing things, and I'd be at a certain angle maybe. I'd be like, oh, there's a butterfly, and I'd be somewhere else on her body. Oh, there's a gecko or whatever. But I didn't have it straight in my mind where everything was, because
Yeah.
I would just encounter them while we were doing things, sometimes while drinking and sometimes while at different.
But at least you acknowledge them
Yeah.
at some point, because most people don't even acknowledge, like, I mean, like, obviously, like, the ones on my fingers and the ones on my hand are get acknowledged, and then I have like a big one on my thigh that gets acknowledged a lot. But for the most part, people don't recognize, like, this one, which is literally two little ghosts, two lost souls swimming
Right.
in a fishbowl,
Okay.
and it says "Wish you were here." You know what song that's from, right?
Yeah. What song?
Pink Floyd. Wish you were here.
Okay, yeah. No,
Like-
I'm not an expert on him or Pink Floyd.
My-
I know
my-
it's not a guy named Pink Floyd, but
I told my dad. I told you my dad. He does the song quiz thing. He played that song a couple weeks ago, and he was like, "Do you know this song, Nick?" And I looked at him, and I was like, "I literally have a tattoo based off of this song." So it's okay to not know about every single tattoo, because a lot of us have a lot nowadays. Let's just be realistic. We're all trying to express ourselves, I think.
I was just thinking how sometimes when I wear my rock and roll shirts at work, and someone will see this shirt and they'll ask me if I know any songs by that band.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
And then-
Exact same thing. I was
And,
like,
and if they ask me that, I'll just say yes. And if they say, "Can you name one?" I'll just say, "Yeah, I can name plenty."
yeah.
But I'm not going to. It's pretty obvious because I'm a 50-something-year-old guy and I've got a Van Halen shirt. Yes,
But,
I
like,
know
who
Van
do-
Halen songs.
Exactly, and who doesn't know Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here"? My dad, he asked me, he goes, "Do you even know this song, Nick?" And I showed him the tattoo, and I was like, "Dad," I was like, and then that brought up the bigger issue, because I was like, if I were to get murdered or something, like, would y'all even be able to identify me by my tattoos? Y'all wouldn't even know which one, like, y'all wouldn't even know if it was me.
Oh, that's some guilt.
I was like, y'all need to pay more attention. He's like, well, I can't help that you keep getting them all the time. I'm like, pay more attention, damn it. I show you them every time I get them. Even though it is very frequent, I will admit that.
Yeah, I think. Well, Vanessa had. It would take a while to learn yours. Vanessa's I probably should have known a little
Yeah.
better, but I think in the beginning she tried to have this narrative because I don't have any tattoos that I don't like them.
Yeah.
Which isn't true. I just think some are good, some are bad, and sometimes where you put them makes a difference.
Yeah.
And she was talking about getting a big one on her back, and I didn't like that idea because I said, well, I like the way your back looks right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but when she was sleeping next to me, if her back was turned towards me, and I was awake, sometimes I'd just look at her back, or
And you couldn't imagine it differently, you know?
yeah, that's the way I liked it. Like she had
Yeah,
some,
yeah, that's
since she wasn't-
understandable.
Yeah, since she wasn't a 22-year-old, she had a few more moles and freckles and things, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were pretty, and that's the way I liked it. Mm-hmm. And then later on, I actually thought too. So if you have some really big tattoo on your back, and that's the back's a lot of times a place where people get skin cancer things.
Yeah.
How does what's the I almost said gynecologist? What's the skin doctor? The dermatologist.
Dermatologist.
Yeah, it must be more difficult for them to evaluate the moles
Yeah,
and things if it's all covered up, and because she was talking about getting some big dark thing.
Yeah, and there's certain people that won't tattoo you if you have like moles in certain places and whatnot, like based off placement, they won't do it.
Oh, okay.
So that could be an issue too. And I mean, I completely understand that. I mean, you're just giving your honest opinion, but at the end of the day, it is her choice.
Yeah, and I think that I showed enough appreciation for her physically to where
Yeah.
it wasn't a thing after a while.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to personal choice, I think. I'm a little hellion, so I just, my parents were like, don't get too many tattoos. I remember when my mom found my first tattoo that I got,
When you were 8.
18.
Oh, okay.
18, not 8. And I was so scared, but she's like, I'm gonna tell your dad. And I was so terrified for my dad to find out, but my dad ended up being like, it's okay, it's fine, we actually think it's really nice. And then now here I am, and I just show up with like tattoos on my hand and my fingers, and they're like, at least it's not the neck. And I'm like, that's coming next, baby.
I thought about getting that done years and years ago, and I never
Yeah.
did because I couldn't figure out the perfect
Yeah.
whatever. It doesn't matter too much to me. Now I feel like I'm the rebel because I'm the one who doesn't have any.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what's funny is almost every single one of the guys that I've dated never had tattoos,
Huh.
which is really strange to me because I feel like everyone has tattoos nowadays. At least one, at least one that they got when they were drunk, in college or whatever. And almost every single dude that I've dated has had no tattoos.
So next show, I think we'll have to have a short discussion on how much interest a guy should show in a girl's tattoos
Yeah, we should.
or her ink, as I like to say.
How inked up is she, baby?
So I guess since you started talking about Vanessa's tattoos, I should probably talk about her a little bit and what happened next. Mm-hmm. I think the last time I got really drunk.
Yeah.
I didn't get drunk, but I was talking about how I got pretty drunk with her and she had the migraine and all that, and I took
Yeah.
care of her. I did want to do a shout out to John. He was the guy who was at one of the bars when we got to, and it was there weren't a lot of chairs there, and as soon as we arrived, it was on a patio. First thing he did was stand up and give her his chair.
Aww.
So yeah, that was really cool of him, just to make her feel welcome right off the bat. So I like that. Anyway, after that, things were still going great, and I wanted to talk about we were talking about healthy relationship stuff. We were doing a lot of things for each other. For example, she got to the point where she wanted me to take her to the gym with me, because
Go to the gym together.
yeah, I know. We'll put together that sentence eventually. She didn't need to work out especially, but she was a little bit smaller and she was in her 40s. So I talked to her about how women, at that age, you start losing some bone density and things like that. And she also was a self-described klutz, where she would be out somewhere doing her country things.
Oh God, it's me.
Yeah, she'd be doing her country things and she'd trip over a rock or
Her
something all the
country
time.
things.
Yeah, all her country things. So,
Yeah.
so I suggested that working out wouldn't be a bad idea because it would help with the falls, as you get older, not breaking bones and stuff, and maybe actually give you a little more coordination so you don't even fall in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I didn't pester her about that, but she started thinking she wanted to do that. I was supporting her. She wanted to drink and smoke a little bit less, so I was supporting her in that. She's a little sensitive about the appearance of her house because she thought her house was a little bit messy, or she thought I thought that, which it probably was a little bit, but I said, you've got kids and animals. I said, you've got like 10 creatures living in your house.
Exactly. You're taking care of this Noah's Ark,
So yeah, it's not perfect, but it doesn't smell. I mean, she had litter boxes, but she kept up with them and everything. And I said, when my son was younger, there were always toys around. So my place wasn't as neat.
Who's going to judge someone for having toys around and
So I
stuff?
assured her about that, but she also had extra things like extra couches and extra washing machines and stuff. And a lot of things in the garage. And I told her that my mom did become a hoarder when she was older. Yeah. So I said...
She was worried about that.
Yeah, so I said it wouldn't be bad to get rid of some of this stuff. Maybe find some friends that could use it or donate it and everything. So as she went along, she was doing some of that. And I think she felt good about that. So we were definitely doing a lot of things for each other. And then as I was learning some of my business software, she was running a small office, so she was going to help teach me some things that she does, because she laughed because when I went to her house, she hardly had any office at her house that she worked out of. So she worked hybrid. She worked at office a few days a week or 2 or 3 days and at home. So when I went to her house, I was expecting this big office, but it was hardly anything. It was just like a laptop and a little desk. I said, where's all your file cabinets and this and that?
Yeah.
So
where's the setup?
So yeah, I was kind of impressed the way she was able to do all this stuff and coordinate all these documents and collaborate using the cloud.
On a laptop, that's very hard. I'll tell you, like right now, coming from someone that does that shit, that is very hard to do from a laptop. Like I have the computer with the 2 screens and everything set up in my office at work, and there's been days like during like the ice storm that we had, I had to work from home, and working from just a laptop is damn near impossible in comparison. It is so hard. Kudos to her. My God.
Yeah, so she was going to be teaching me some of that stuff. So when I was looking in the near future, going out
Yeah, and so
to
you
get
have
a
the
job,
skills.
yeah,
Yeah.
just different skills. So
Because I didn't have those skills when I started, and I was just lucky that they were just like, all right, this bitch is dumb, but we're gonna teach her.
yeah, so I thought it was really cool the way we were helping each other.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the way we talked to each other, at least on the phone every day if we didn't see each other, it felt like this person is becoming one of my good friends or one of my best friends. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what girls or guys, for that matter, should look for in that relationship, is someone helping you become a better person, and while not necessarily dominating you.
Exactly.
Like I didn't tell her you got to get this house cleaned up. I just said
Give
"Yeah,
suggestions. Hey, how about you do this? How about you? Can I help you do that? You know.
Yeah. I literally
Be
I
helpful.
said,
You know.
if if you want to change some things in your house, let me know what you want to do, and I'll help you move some
Exactly.
stuff around.
There's such a difference between, and it's so much more healthy and positive whenever you approach it in that style versus what the fuck, this place is so cluttered, blah blah blah, you know, like it's there's a huge difference in the way that the other person is going to react.
And some people I think are very defensive because they say, "Oh, you're trying to tell me what to do, so I'm not
Exactly.
going to do this." But really, we all need to, at times in our lives, change the way we do things. Whether someone,
one's perfect.
Whether someone tells us or not. So if someone is suggesting some things, I think it's worth listening to. It doesn't mean they're changing your soul or who you are as a person.
Yeah.
They're looking at things. We were looking at things with each other that we could both improve. Both of us felt that we weren't a finished product. There were things we needed to do in our lives to plan for the
Almost
future
like, dude,
and to
where
get
is
better.
my life?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So help each other when you're in a relationship. And if you're in something where someone's just yelling at you and telling you suck, well, that's not healthy. It's that thing where, yeah, you look for someone to be your friend. And aside from the friend stuff, we just had other things that were going great because I was thinking of different things, traditions we had. For example, we would go out and walk at 3 a.m, 4 a.m, whatever. She was into astrology, and we'd take a drink
Ooh,
maybe
love
and
that.
hold hands, and she'd point out some constellations and everything.
Love that.
And I just love walking around at night like that. Just the two of us out there, no one else out there. At this point, or a while back, you know how I said we used to not get to bed till 5 a.m?
Yeah.
That changed. It wasn't 5 a.m. anymore. It was like 6:30, whatever. I mean, it was ridiculously late.
Yeah.
And
And,
it
she
wa-
had to work the next morning.
Yeah, a lot of the times. And it wasn't that it was necessarily, yeah, we were just doing, how people say we were just doing sex all night long.
Yeah.
People brag about that. I think it was, there was some of that going on, of course, but it was also, it's just like when you're a little kid and you only have that one night a week, maybe. You just
Yeah,
don't
it's
want
just
the night
genuine connection.
Yeah, you just don't want the night to end, so we just didn't want to go to bed. And there were nights where finally she'd be falling asleep at a decent hour, like 4:30 or 5, and I'd be lying down, and I'd hear her breathing rhythmically, like, okay, she's falling asleep. And then I'm hungry because I've been drinking. And
And you're like, oh shit.
yeah, so I go out to the living room and heat up some food.
And then she wakes up.
Yeah, heat up some food, turn on TV, and I start eating, and all of a sudden she comes walking out, and I'd be saying, "What are you doing? You need to go to sleep." And then she's so cute. She'd say, I want to wait for you. I'm going to wait out here, for you.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, and then next thing I know, she starts rubbing my shoulders and saying, "Oh, man, you're so tight."
And then you just like didn't finish that burrito.
Well, I did, but it was more. Well, then she'd say, "Here, go get the lotion." I get the lotion. And then it's like 5:30 in the morning. She's giving me a full body massage,
Yeah.
and I was going, "Who is this girl she's got to wake up in a couple hours and she's doing this stuff?"
She was into you.
Yeah, it was just incredible. All the cool things we did together, and then going over her house too. Not just the fooling around part, but I'd go over there. And there's these cats and the dog, I'd open the door and the dog comes to greet me, and we go in a room and there's all these cats in there, and I was getting a little bit attached to them, even though it wasn't that many times I was over there. Mm-hmm. It was just funny. I remember, if we were fooling around, she'd kick the cats, out of the room. So it wasn't that weird. And we were done and she'd open the door again.
Because it was an orgasmic cat.
Yeah.
That's the only cat that's allowed.
Yeah, the orgasmic cat, to make sure that happens. And she'd open the door, and she'd be back at her desk doing some work, and I'm lying on the bed, and these cats are jumping on the bed, and she'd just look back and laugh and say, I'm so glad you like cats. Because, they're just crawling all over
To
me.
be honest, though, screw anyone that doesn't like cats. Cats are the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who don't like them, but they just don't realize.
They haven't met a good one.
Yeah, like I grew up with cats, and they were all so cool. And
Yeah, I grew up with cats, and okay, one of them died when I was very young, and the other one hated me. So I grew up hating cats because this cat hated me.
you get some of them in there mixed in there.
But then I like ended up like having friends, and then I had a roommate that had cats and stuff, and then I dated people that had cats, and you realize cats are actually really cool.
They are.
I just had a bad experience growing up. Rest in peace, Belky, you piece of shit.
Anyway, do you have a couple special songs?
A couple?
Yeah, like as a couple, like your
Oh,
boyfriend
no.
or a past boyfriend,
No.
were there certain songs that were
I mean,
your
like
songs?
past boyfriends, yeah. Yeah, but they're like really corny.
Or are they
Yeah,
like what?
like Yellow by Coldplay.
Yeah.
Which is it's terrible. It's terrible. Yellow by Coldplay and
I know this song, but I don't really know the words.
just look at the stars, look how they shine for you.
Okay, I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's a terrible. Oh God, that's such a corny song. I think that's the only one I have though.
Yeah, one of our main ones was "Any Way You Want It" by Journey. I don't know if you know that one.
Yeah,
Because the words they're really cool. They're like upbeat, friendly,
yeah,
pretty sexy.
yeah.
And sometimes we'd come home late at night and we would she would sit on my lap at the desk here and we'd watch YouTube videos from the 80s songs and everything. And
I love that.
yeah.
That's so sweet. Yeah, mine was just corny as shit.
Yeah, we like doing some corny stuff like that.
Love it.
I could just imagine that guys I know that might listen to this are just thinking like, oh God, what's he doing?
No, but that's how you snag a girl, man. I'm telling you. We love it. I was so head over heels for Yellow by Coldplay.
Oh yeah.
And that dude at the time, yeah. Oh my God. And then he took me to the concert, and the very last song that they played was Yellow, and they like released all this confetti stuff, and it was I was the belle of the ball that night. I will tell you that for sure. Could no one tell me better?
Yeah, I tried to make her feel that way when we went out and we'd
Yeah.
be playing pool and I'd play some of these songs and I'd always play a couple Madonna songs on a jukebox. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I would play Crazy for You because that's a good slow dance one.
Yeah.
I like the way you said like the guy made me feel. What'd you say? He made me feel like the belle of the ball, or I felt
Yeah.
that way. Yeah, yeah. I tried to make her feel that way. That we didn't have that much time together, but I think I made her feel that way when she came over. She knew, she was my little queen, and
Aw.
but she made me feel that way too when I was with her. I was thinking, man, I'm not a rich guy, but I just feel like,
I'm rich.
yeah, I feel like I'm very wealthy right now.
That's so sweet.
Yeah,
Very sweet.
dude, sweet.
Dude, so sweet. Where is my life?
Look at the stars, look how they shine for you. And everything you do, yeah, they were all